Welcome to this edition of Your Ticket to Baseball Nostalgia. This is Dan Busby, baseball ticket collector, researcher, and author. My first baseball book was entitled Before and After Babe Ruth, a story of the New York Yankees as told through the lens of tickets and passes. In this edition of Your Ticket to Baseball Nostalgia, we are covering the 1956 Brooklyn Dodgers World Series against the New York Yankees. This is all based on my book, Before and After Jackie Robinson, a story of the Brooklyn National League team as told through the lens of tickets and passes. Today, I'm sitting in a couple of old seats that were used at Wrigley Field decades ago. In Game 1 of the World Series, played at Ebbets Field, Sal Maglie opened for the Dodgers and pitched a complete game victory over the Yankees' Whitey Ford. Mickey Mantle boomed a two-run home run in the first, and Billy Martin hit a solo shot in the third. But Maglie settled down and held the Yankees to 9 hits and struck out 10, winning 6-3. Gil Hodges muscled a 3-run home run into the left field seats in the third to finish Whitey Ford. In Game 2, the Dodgers took the lead in the series 2-0. Don Newcomb once again imploded in postseason competition as the Yankees scored 6 runs in the first 2 innings, 4 on a Yogi Berra grand slam. Newcomb said, "Every pitch I threw Berra, I wanted back." Remarkably, the Dodgers came back with 6 in the bottom of the second inning to knock Don Larsen out of the box, aided by a 3-run homer by Duke Snider. The Dodgers came up with 13 runs to win it 13-8. Game 3 of the series moved to Yankee Stadium. A rainout between Games 1 and 2 allowed Stengel to come back with Whitey Ford in Game 3. Alston could have done the same with Maglie, but instead went with Roger Craig, despite his poor second half of the season. The 40-year-old Enos Slaughter drove in the winning runs on a 3-run homer in the 6th inning, with the Yankees winning 5-3. Game 4 saw Carl Erskine take a 6-2 loss, evening up the series. Mantle and Bauer homered for the Yankees, with Tom Sturdivant going all the way for the win. In relief, Ed Roebuck gave up Mantle's solo shot into the right center field bleachers. Duke Snider was in center. He didn't turn around at first and then had a second thought and turned to see how far it would go. Game 5 of the series featured Sal Maglie for the Dodgers and Don Larsen for the Yankees. Whether watching on television or in the stands, the ramifications of who would win or lose Game 5 was soon replaced by the realization that this was one of the most famous games in baseball history. Larsen learned that he would be the Yankee starter in the pivotal game of the series after a hard night out on the town, when he opened his locker and discovered that pitching coach Jim Turner had placed the game ball in his shoe. 2 years earlier, Larsen went a wretched 3 wins and 21 losses with the St. Louis Browns. He figured he had to pitch the game of his life to beat Sal Maglie, and he was correct. Sal Maglie pitched no-hit ball for 7 of his 9 innings. With 2 outs, Maglie allowed Mantle a cheap home run over the 4-foot fence into the lower right field stands in the 4th. In the 6th, he allowed a second run on hits by Carey, Bauer, and Collins. No other Yankee reached base in any of the other 7 innings. In the 8th inning, his last inning of work, Maglie struck out the side. It was a special performance for an outstanding pitcher in the twilight of his career, but remembered by few because Don Larsen threw a perfect game that day. The 6'4" Larsen never gave any sign of greatness before that day. Just the week before, Larsen started pitching from the stop position, not from the stretch. Stengel would say that Larsen could be one of the best pitchers of his day if he ever decided to put his mind to it, that is, stop partying. The Dodgers hit 4 balls off Larsen that could have broken up the perfect game. Ambrose had a long drive that would have been a home run if it had not gone foul by inches. Jackie Robinson banged a vicious grounder off Andy Carey's leg at third, but it carried him to Gil McDougal for the throw to first. Gil Hodges hit a high long drive that only a center fielder with Mantle's speed could have caught backhanded while at full stride. Hodges also hit a smash to Andy Carey's left, a hard hit, certain single, but Carey lunged and caught it or scooped it to make certain he threw it to first for the out. What can you do for an encore after a perfect game? Nothing, which is why some baseball fans think Larsen's perfect game ended the 1956 World Series. After the perfect game overshadowed the tremendous but anticlimactic Game 6 in Ebbets Field. Clem Labine and Bob Turley battled to a scoreless tie in the 10th inning. In the bottom of the inning, Junior Gilliam walked leading off. Reese sacrificed him to second. Snyder was walked intentionally, bringing Robinson to the plate with runners on first and second, arguably the greatest player of the decade. Jackie lined the ball over the glove of the leaping Enos Slaughter in left and off the wall. Gilliam raced home with a winning run, and the Dodgers won 1-0 and pushed the series to a 7th game. Brooklyn went with their ace in Game 7, Don Newcombe, and the Yankees countered with Johnny Cooks. This was the opportunity for Newcombe to silence his critics by shutting down the Yankees in the biggest game of the year. But Cooks would dominate by giving up only 2 singles to Snyder and 1 to Furillo, and coasted to a 9-0 win. The Dodgers, who hit 195 for the series, scored only 1 run in their final 3 games. Jackie Robinson played in all 7 games of the World Series, with 1 home run and 1 game-winning hit. When Cook struck out Robinson to end Game 7, no one knew it would be Robinson's last major league appearance. Jackie Robinson wanted to play 1 more season. His 1956 batting average was .275, up from .256 the year before. He hit 10 home runs, up from 8 in 1955. He played in 117 games in 1956. He stole 12 bases, the same as 1955. But after the 1956 season, Walter O'Malley traded Jackie Robinson to the New York Giants. O'Malley said, "We hate to lose Jackie, but it is necessary for the good of the team." Jackie was the embodiment of the loud, brave, contentious Dodgers. Now he was being assigned to the team's greatest adversary. Well, thank you for joining us for this edition of Your Ticket to Baseball Nostalgia. Watch our other videos to relive Brooklyn Dodger memories. This video is based on my book, Before and After Jackie Robinson, a story of the Brooklyn National League team as told through the lens of tickets and passes. For more information on old baseball tickets, go to baseballticketman.com. And order your copy of Before and After Babe Ruth and Before and After Jackie Robinson on Amazon. Watch for my 3rd baseball book, Before and After Satchel Paige. And a special thank you to Daniel Herman, who shot and edited this video.